Ladies and gentlemen, you don't chase what you know belongs to you. The moment you start begging for love, attention, or respect, you've already forgotten your power. The most magnetic people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who walk into a room with quiet confidence and leave without needing validation. If you have to force someone to see your worth, they were never meant to witness your greatness. So stop chasing and start becoming. Because the right energy doesn't need to be chased, it gets drawn in by presence. Stay with me. Because this could be the moment you stop running after love and start standing in your power. Before you try to control anyone else's thoughts or feelings, you must start with yourself. There is immense power in knowing who you are, your strengths, your flaws, your vision. When you understand your worth, you stop begging for attention, validation, or love. You radiate a kind of energy that speaks louder than words. The truth is, people are drawn to those who don't need them to feel whole. This wholeness begins with deep self-awareness. Take time to discover what sets your soul on fire. Embrace your individuality like it's your superpower. No one else can bring what you bring to the world. That's not arrogance, it's alignment with your truth. Many waste their energy chasing approval, believing that controlling someone's affection means constantly doing more. But love, loyalty, and attention are not rewards you earn through sacrifice. They're reflections of how you carry yourself. When you hold yourself to high standards, the world has no choice but to meet you there. If you want to influence someone's heart and mind, show them how deeply you honor your own. Move with confidence, not confusion. Speak with clarity, not desperation. People remember those who walk into a room already complete, already enough. You don't have to be loud, just be certain. Confidence isn't loud arrogance, it's silent strength. It's waking up and knowing that your presence is valuable, even if no one acknowledges it. That kind of energy is magnetic. The way you walk, talk, and even sit tells the world how to treat you. And when you treat yourself with respect, you train others to do the same. If you keep proving your worth to someone, it means you haven't fully accepted it yourself. Stop trying to convince people of your value, start embodying it. When you know who you are, you don't chase, you attract. Not with tricks or games, but with truth. Becoming unforgettable doesn't mean being perfect. It means being real, raw, and relentless about your growth. No one can resist someone who's walking boldly in their purpose. Purpose is powerful. It gives your energy direction and your mind clarity. When you lead with purpose, people follow without needing to be pulled. You don't need to control someone's emotions when your vibe speaks louder than your words. So, build a life that you love, with or without anyone's validation. That's where real control begins, not with manipulation, but with mastery of self. You can't demand loyalty if you don't first demonstrate self-respect. Start by asking yourself, do I love the person I am when no one's watching? Because that's a version of you that truly matters. That's a version that builds trust within. It's easy to lose yourself when your focus is on someone else's approval. But if you forget who you are, even their love won't feel like enough. Your presence should be a choice, not a negotiation. Don't reduce yourself to be liked. Expand yourself to be respected. Someone else's heart is not your home. Build your own. And let them earn their way in. That is how you stay in control, without ever raising your voice. People fall for authenticity, for someone who knows what they bring to the table and doesn't hesitate to sit alone if needed. That level of independence is powerful. It's not about shutting people out, it's about not needing them to survive emotionally. Love should be a bonus, not your oxygen. When you love yourself so fiercely that others see how you treat your own soul, they either rise to meet you or quietly walk away, and both are blessings. If someone can't see your worth, don't spend your days trying to show them. Protect your peace. That's the highest form of control. Sometimes silence is louder than words. In a world where everyone is trying to be noticed, being deeply secure in your quiet confidence is a rare kind of beauty. When you stop performing for attention, you start attracting real connection. Control isn't about dominating conversations or manipulating feelings. It's about being centered in who you are. That unshakable presence makes people wonder, what is it about them? And the answer is simple, it's self-possession. You're not desperate to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself, and that alone creates a gravitational pull no tactics can replicate. The more you pour into yourself, the less you seek from others. Read books that challenge your mind. Surround yourself with people who elevate your spirit. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what builds you. Every decision you make, every boundary you set sends a message. I know who I am. That is how you influence without effort. That is how you become unforgettable. Not by controlling another's mind or heart, but by taking full command of your own. Control doesn't begin with strategy. It begins with standards. High standards for your energy, your time, and your heart. You are the prize, not because you're better than anyone, but because you've done the inner work. You've chosen healing over hiding, growth over comfort, self-respect over people-pleasing. That kind of depth can't be faked. When you stop trying to be enough for others and start being everything for yourself, everything changes. You're not waiting to be chosen. You're choosing yourself daily. And from that space of power, you draw in people who are ready to meet you where you stand. No games, no control tactics, just presence. That's how you win hearts and minds, by being whole. So remember this, you don't need to manipulate, chase, or prove your worth. You just need to be so secure in your identity that others can't help but respect it. That's where the real magic is. That's where influence lives. It's in the quiet strength of someone who knows their value and isn't afraid to walk alone if necessary. From that space, everything becomes easier. Love, respect, connection. It all starts with you. When you take the time to become unforgettable to yourself, you'll never again beg to be remembered by someone else. That's not just control, that's power. That's freedom. HHEPT said, you cannot influence someone else's heart or mind until you've mastered your own. Real power is not in controlling others. It's in how you respond to the world when things don't go your way. It's in choosing calm when chaos tries to provoke you. Emotional control is not weakness, it's proof of strength. The one who keeps their peace when others lose theirs is the one who truly holds power. People notice how you carry yourself under pressure. They remember how you made them feel. Not by force, but by your presence. Influence isn't loud. It's calm, quiet, and deeply rooted. It begins within. You have to stop reacting to everything. Not everyone deserves your energy, your words, or your time. The more you react, the more you give your power away. Control is about choosing when and how to engage. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. When your mind is strong, silence becomes a powerful message. Learn to sit with discomfort without trying to fix everything or everyone. That's self-mastery. When you rise above pettiness, you show people that your energy is rare and not easily moved. Every time you let your emotions dictate your actions, you hand someone else the steering wheel. If someone can make you angry, insecure, or desperate, they control you. But when you remain centered, they lose that hold. Your power grows every time you choose emotional discipline over temporary satisfaction. You don't need to match chaos with chaos. That's not strength. Strength is responding with clarity when others are acting out of confusion. The one who controls their thoughts controls the situation. When your emotions are in check, you see clearly, act wisely, and carry a presence that commands respect. Your mind is your battlefield. Every day there are voices trying to distract you. Doubt, fear, insecurity. But those voices don't define you unless you let them. You have to train your mind the way an athlete trains their body. Discipline, repetition, focus. You don't wake up with a strong mindset, you build it day by day. Influence comes from your ability to stay focused on your purpose, even when emotions try to pull you off track. When you master that, others can't help but follow your energy. That's not manipulation. It's magnetism created by mental clarity. Most people are reactive because they don't take the time to understand their own emotion. They lash out, shut down, or chase validation without knowing why. But when you pause and reflect, you gain control over what used to control you. Self-awareness is the foundation of all influence. You begin to notice patterns, triggers, and unhealthy cycles, and you break them. That kind of internal work changes the way people see you. They sense your depth. They recognize your control. You no longer seek attention, you command presence just by showing up, grounded in your truth. You don't need to beg to be heard when you speak with intention. When your words come from a place of clarity, they carry weight. People listen more closely when you speak less but mean more. Don't argue for the sake of being right. Don't chase approval for the sake of feeling enough. The more you master your mind, the less you need from others. That's freedom. And that freedom is what gives you power in any room, any conversation, any relationship. The one who is not desperate to be understood is often the one who understands everything the most. In every situation, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time, it's not. People will project their insecurities, fears, and chaos onto you and expect you to carry it. Don't. Carry peace instead. Protect it like it's sacred. 'Cause it is. Once you realize that your energy is currency, you stop spending it on things that don't grow you. Let people underestimate you. Let them think they've won by provoking silence. True control isn't loud. It's invisible strength. That's what leaves a mark. That's what stays on people's minds long after you leave the room. Control doesn't mean bottling everything up. It means responding with wisdom instead of emotion. It's knowing the difference between reacting to pain and responding from power. You can express yourself without losing yourself. You can stand your ground without being aggressive. That balance is rare, and that's what makes it powerful. People don't remember the loudest voice. They remember the one that was steady, intentional, and unshakable. Your presence can either be noise or impact. Choose impact. And impact starts when you master the one thing you always carry with you, your mind. Stop trying to force outcomes. The more you try to control people's responses, the more control you lose. Influence doesn't come from control, it comes from clarity. Know your values, live your truth, and detach from the need to be liked. That's when real respect begins. When people see that you're not controlled by their opinion, they begin to question their own. Your groundedness becomes a mirror. It challenges others to rise, to reflect, to grow. Influence isn't about pulling people toward you. It's about being so secure that they want to walk beside you. The mind and the heart work together, but the mind leads. When your thoughts are aligned with truth, your emotions follow. You don't drown in the moment. You move through it. People will try to test your calm, shake your center, question your value. Don't let them. Stay still. Stillness is not weakness, it's confidence. It shows that you are not controlled by external chaos. Instead, you are moved only by internal purpose. And that kind of energy, it leaves a lasting imprint. It influences without effort. It leads without chasing. That's how true control is earned, not given. You don't have to give away every part of yourself to be seen. In fact, the more you hold back with intention, the more powerful your presence becomes. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about knowing your worth and not feeling the need to prove it constantly. When you reveal too much too soon, you give people less reason to invest, to wonder, to work for your energy. Keeping a part of yourself sacred creates space for curiosity. It tells the world you value your own privacy and depth. There's nothing wrong with being warm and open, but there's strength in restraint. You deserve to be discovered layer by layer, not handed over all at once. Let people earn the privilege of knowing your inner world. That's how respect is built, slowly, through earned connection. People naturally want what feels rare, not what's available at every glance. When you are comfortable in your own silence, your own space, your own presence, it shows. You become the calm in the storm, the question that lingers after the conversation ends. The need to over-explain, overshare, or overcompensate is rooted in fear. Fear of not being chosen, not being enough. But the truth is, real confidence comes from knowing that you don't need to rush connection. You're not afraid to wait. You're not desperate to be understood on day one. You let people come closer at a pace that honors your peace. That's not arrogance. It's self-respect in motion. When someone has to lean in to understand you, they listen more carefully. When they don't have full access to your thoughts, your past, your insecurities, they value what you do share more deeply. We live in a world that rewards instant gratification, but emotional depth doesn't work like that. It takes time. When you embrace that truth, you stop trying to force closeness and instead allow connection to unfold naturally. You become intentional with your words and energy. You speak when there's something worth saying. You share when the space feels safe. That's power. Not in withholding, but in choosing what's sacred. There's a reason why people remember those who don't give everything away. It's not because they're cold, but because they carry themselves with care. They protect their peace, their stories, their truth. And that protection isn't about being guarded, it's about knowing that some things are too valuable to be placed in unworthy hands. You don't need to tell everyone what you've been through for them to respect you. Let your energy speak first. Let your presence tell the story before your mouth does. The most unforgettable people are the ones who make you feel something without needing to say everything. When you know your value, you don't fear being misunderstood. You understand that mystery is part of the journey. You don't rush to explain yourself or correct every assumption. Let them wonder. Let them try to figure you out. Let them be curious. Because curiosity builds connection, and connection builds respect. You don't owe everyone your full truth. You owe yourself the peace that comes with protecting your heart. You don't have to shut people out. You just need to slow the pace. Give enough to spark interest, but never so much that you lose yourself trying to be liked. People often think being open means being available all the time. But being available to everyone can dilute your energy. You become too accessible, too familiar, too easily dismissed. It's okay to be kind, warm, and loving, but boundaries are what make those traits meaningful. Not everyone deserves the same version of you. Some people are meant to see your smile, others are meant to hear your thoughts, and very few are meant to hold your heart. The power is in knowing the difference. Protect your emotional world like it's art, because it is. Let only those who appreciate it close enough to see the details. You don't have to answer every question someone asks. You don't need to expose every dream or fear to feel close to someone. The idea that openness equals intimacy is false. True intimacy is built on trust, not just transparency. It's okay to say, I'm not ready to share that yet. It's okay to leave some things unsaid. The right people will respect your pace. The right ones won't need your full story to believe in your value. They'll feel it in how you carry yourself, in your pauses, in your standards. That quiet strength is far more attractive than forced vulnerability. The strongest people aren't the ones who share everything. They're the ones who know when not to. They speak with purpose, not pressure. They're not afraid of being misunderstood for a while because they trust that time reveals truth. When you hold a part of yourself back, not out of fear but out of self-love, people feel that depth. They feel the difference between mystery and manipulation. Mystery invites people in gently. Manipulation forces its way in. Choose grace over games. Choose presence over performance. Let your silence echo louder than words, meant just to fill space. There's a reason books are read one page at a time. You don't flip to the end just to know what happens. You enjoy the build-up, the tension, the slow reveal. You are a story worth being read, not a summary to be skimmed. If someone isn't willing to turn the pages with patience, they don't deserve the ending. The right people will stay curious. They'll respect the pace. They'll see your restraint not as coldness, but as power. Because it takes strength to say, not yet. It takes wisdom to understand that being unforgettable is about what you don't say just as much as what you do. So hold your mystery like a crown, not as a mask to hide behind, but as a signal of depth, value, and self-respect. You don't need to perform to be seen. You don't need to rush to be loved. Your presence is enough. The ones who matter will take the time. They'll lean in. They'll stay. And the ones who don't, let them walk away. You don't need to be fully known by many. You just need to be deeply seen by the few who are worthy. In a world full of noise, be the one who speaks with silence and lives with intention. That's how you become unforgettable. Through grace, through restraint, and through quiet power. You don't need to chase what's already meant for you. When you align your life with your highest values, you naturally attract the kind of energy that matches your worth. Chasing love, validation, or attention always places your power outside of yourself. Instead, focus on becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to chase anything. Someone whose energy speaks before their words do. When you're grounded in who you are, the right people feel it. They feel your presence without needing to be convinced of it. You don't have to prove your value when you live like you know it already. That quiet confidence is louder than any words you could say. It tells the world, I know who I am, and I know what I deserve. People are drawn to consistency and clarity. When you show up for yourself daily, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it creates an unshakable foundation. This inner stability becomes magnetic. You stop attracting confusion and start calling in people who reflect the peace you've built within. But it all starts with the standards you set for yourself. What you tolerate teaches others how to treat you. What you settle for becomes your baseline. So if you want to attract loyalty, depth, and respect, you must first give those things to yourself. No more lowering your bar to make someone else feel comfortable. The ones meant for you will meet you at your level or rise to reach you. When you carry yourself with dignity, you stop begging for attention and start commanding respect. That shift is powerful. It means your worth is not negotiable. You're not performing to be chosen, you're choosing yourself first, every day. That energy can't be faked. It comes from doing the inner work, healing the wounds that made you chase, and rewriting the story that told you love has to be earned through suffering. Real connection flows to those who don't force it. When you release the need to be accepted by everyone, you create space for the right ones to truly see you. You attract not just with looks or words, but with presence, purpose, and self-respect. Trying to control someone's attention only creates anxiety. It turns relationships into performances and love into a transaction. But when you let go and trust your own energy, you begin to rest in your worth. That's where the shift happens. You no longer fear losing anyone who was never aligned with you to begin with. You begin to understand that walking away from confusion is an act of self-care, not failure. You don't need to compete, compare, or cling. Just stand in your truth. The right person will recognize your frequency without needing a broadcast. The wrong ones will feel uncomfortable around your calm. Let them go. It's easy to think you need to be more available, more giving, more accommodating to earn someone's heart. But becoming more for others while becoming less for yourself is a trade you'll always regret. What truly attracts people is someone who lives fully, not someone who sacrifices their light to be seen. You're not here to fit into someone else's mold. You're here to be the fullest expression of yourself. That boldness is attractive. That authenticity is rare. It invites others to meet you where you are, not pull you into spaces you've outgrown. You don't need to adapt to be accepted. You need to rise and be remembered. There's nothing more magnetic than someone who's deeply in love with their life. Someone who creates, grows, and gives without depending on anyone else's validation. That kind of energy is contagious. When you invest in yourself, your goals, your joy, your peace, you create a life that people want to be a part of. Not out of obligation, but admiration. You don't need to chase love when you embody it. You don't need to demand respect when you walk in it. So build a life so beautiful, so purposeful, that others feel honored just to witness it. And in doing so, you become impossible to ignore. Let your focus be on becoming, not convincing, not proving, not pleading, just becoming. Every moment you spend improving your mindset, honoring your boundaries, and cultivating your peace is a moment spent attracting what aligns. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to resonate deeply with the few who are meant for your frequency. That kind of connection is rare, but it's worth waiting for. You don't find it by forcing anything. You find it by standing tall in who you are, trusting that your energy is doing the work long before your words ever will. That's the power of presence. Confidence doesn't mean loudness or dominance. It means stillness, clarity, and purpose. It means knowing what you bring to the table, even if others haven't seen it yet. You don't have to scream for attention when your life already speaks for itself. The way you carry yourself, the way you treat others, the way you move through the world. These things leave an impression deeper than any performance ever could. So live in such a way that your energy introduces you before you even speak. Let your joy be your strength. Let your standards be your filter. Let your peace be your presence. The most attractive people are those who've built a home within themselves. They don't need anyone to fill a void or fix their brokenness. They've already done the work. That kind of wholeness can't be faked. It's in the way they walk away from what doesn't serve them. It's in the way they love without attachment and give without expectation. That freedom is rare, and it's what draws people in. Not because you need them, but because you choose them from a place of strength, not lack. Build that kind of life. Build that kind of power. Then let love, respect, and connection find their way to you. So don't waste time trying to win over those who overlook you. Don't shrink yourself to be chosen. Expand, rise, peak less and do more. Focus on becoming the kind of person who doesn't chase doesn't beg, doesn't settle. Focus on becoming someone who wakes up every day with purpose, peace, and self-respect. When you operate from that place, you attract not just attention, but loyalty, trust, and admiration. And when you no longer need to be seen to feel whole, that's when people truly see you. That's not luck, it's alignment. It's the reward for doing the work. And that's how you rise without chasing.